The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Napick. Here we are on show number 487. That's right, 487. Working our way towards show number 500. As always, reminding you to go to Stewart.com. That's right, where you can see all these shows. Simply go to Stewart.com/radio. All the shows are there. In addition to hearing the shows, you can also see them and find out what's going on right here in the studio. So let's get down to business as we welcome Cesar Rincon. His company is called eXp Realty. Cesar, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. I'm honored to be here and happy to be, sharing some real estate tips and knowledge with the audience.
Exactly. And here we are. Real estate is fast moving. Even in the heat, people are buying homes, you're showing homes and things like that. So it's a hot summer. But in terms of real estate, let's tell people, what's the market like? Is it as hot as the weather, Cesar?
Yes, the market is very hot.
Yes.
So it is a very competitive market right now, and I'm sure our upcoming guests will get into more of the details of the numbers when it comes to financing. But it's a challenge right now because there's not a lot of properties available for sale. So it still continues to be a challenging market. However, there are many opportunities. Don't let the headlines keep you out of buying a home. If you need to buy a home, if you need to move, or if you're a first-time home buyer, which is what majority of my business is first-time home buyers, don't stay paying 100% interest, as some people like to say. You can transition from becoming a renter to a home buyer, rather easily. Okay, and don't worry about the headlines. There are many opportunities.
Well, give us a word on the first-time home buyer, because whatever the market's like 5 years ago, 3 years ago, there's always first-time home buyers. And it seems that as we talk to real estate professionals here all the time, it's interesting. Some people spend a lot of time helping the first-time home buyers. Give us an idea how many are out there right now that are ready to buy, but also how many first-time people that you talk to become first-time home buyers after they find out how easy, quote, it is to buy.
Yeah, so and you know what? You hit the nail right in the head. First-time home buying is not as hard as some people think it is, okay? It's really a simple process. You basically, if you're going to need financing, I always say no loan, no home. I don't have the privilege of working with cash buyers. So there is a process to get a loan, but it really comes down to two simple components. The first component is you have to have income, right? So if you're working, yes, don't call or don't be looking for a home or thinking you're going to buy a home if you don't have a job, haven't had a job in years, or have no income. And the second thing is your credit score, which is typically, a measure of your financial behavior. Okay, with those two things, our next guest is, they can make it work. Okay, however, first-time buyers need guidance as to what's the first step. The first step really is to talk to a loan officer. Okay, talk to a loan officer that can really lay out the game plan and figure out what's the best possible scenario for them. Whether it's a FHA loan, even a USDA loan, different scenarios, right? Yes, you need some money to buy. You need some escrow money. You need inspections. You need appraisal money and things like that. But that's exactly what we like to do and educate our buyers from A to Z what it's really going to take to get there. Now, I have a very simple philosophy. When I got into business 4 years ago, I listened to a training by a gentleman by the name of Brent Gove. Rocked my world because he said everybody qualifies. It's just going to take a little time. Okay? So if you're thinking of buying a home and you're thinking that, oh, maybe I would never qualify, or no, let's have a conversation, because you might be ready right now. You might be ready in 3 months. You might be ready in 2 years. But the time is going to pass anyway. So we always encourage everybody to just call, get the information, and get the ball rolling.
Well, so let's say someone is past the point where they're already pre-approved, and then you have either reached out to them or they find you somehow. Tell us what the next step is, again, on the first-time home buyer after they have the money approved, ready to go, and they say, hey, Cesar, it's time. And what's the first thing they'll say? Hey, I'm in this price range. I want to be in this geographic area. How does it work from there? Give us a little model.
So usually what we do is we sit down at our office, and together we explore the possibilities, right? Some people say, I want to stay in this area, but their price range is not in sync with that area, right?
So you're there to help them.
And so I show them, because it's not, we want to give everybody the opportunity. We want them to buy the home that they want. But we'll show and we'll say, this is your budget. Let's see what's available in your general area. And if there are some opportunities, then of course we zero in and we start to really zero down on what they want, what they like. Okay? Some people want big yards. Some people want smaller yards. So we go through pictures of existing listings and we kind of sort and see what's available to see what makes them feel comfortable, if it's worth it to go and see a property. Because sometimes people get excited. They send me pictures. I have a client right now that's sending me a bunch of pictures. And then it's like, oh, I like this house, but it's being sold as is, no repairs, blah, blah, blah. And so we guide them to really sort out what would be a good fit for them. Most important thing, though, is that the real estate inventory changes daily. So when people come to our office and they see, and sometimes they're a little deflated or disappointed, they're like, I don't know. Like, don't worry. In 2 days, some of these houses are going to be sold, and there's going to be new ones on the market. So we just have to keep a pulse and keep sorting until we find the one. Now, what I do say is, when we find one that we think is a good fit, then let's go right now. Like, I'm at work. Let's go. Like, if we can get an appointment the same day.
Someone may jump right on that.
Exactly. We got to jump on it. Yes.
Well, give us an idea also. Once again, the first-time home buyer, how often, in your experience of the people that you've helped, how often do they end up buying new construction by a builder, if any?
Well, in my case, a lot. I'd say more than 90% of my business ends up being new construction. Okay. And the reason for that is we don't have to chase the property as much, right? Because even, let's suppose we are lucky enough to find a home within the price range in the area that they want, then we're up against whether the property will have a good inspection, right? It might look good, but behind the walls and the systems might need a new roof, might need air conditioning, things like that. So it may not be worth it, right? It may not even make appraisal, right? Just because they're asking a certain amount and we're willing to offer that amount doesn't mean that the appraiser will approve it for that loan amount. So a lot of times we end up buying new construction. I just had a client, we looked at 10 homes, we made 3 offers, none of them worked out, and then we ended up buying a new construction home because they're like, you know what, I've had it, let's just go, get the house, sign on it, and move on.
I think one of the other things for the benefit of that new home buyer, assuming some of them are just starting out, lower budget, it's nice to get a newer home. That way they don't have to spend money on repairs, and they have a guarantee, the builder's guarantee, whatever it may be. So that's kind of an advantage. And as I reflect, my very first home was new construction.
Brand new home. Absolutely. I mean, that's what I tell my clients. I say, look, it might cost a little bit more up front. The sales price of the home might be a little bit more, but you don't have to worry about a roof for 15, 20 years. You don't have to worry about an air conditioning. If you have any issues at the beginning, they're going to take care of them. So yes, personally, I'm a big advocate of new construction because of that for first-time buyers. I always say, unless you specifically need to be in a certain area because you say, I don't want to drive more than X amount of time to work, or you absolutely have to have your kids go to a certain school, then open up to new construction. And if it makes sense, I think it's a better value.
Now, also give us a word on, outside of the first-time buyers, who else are you helping right now? Are you helping anybody that's coming from out of the state of Texas, by the way?
We have not been part of that big influx. We have had a couple of referrals that came to us that moved from Florida, but so we're not part. We haven't been part of that big wave of people that have been moving in. We just been lucky that we're working with another market basically.
Well, give us an idea as far as anything else you'd want to tell people here before we close the segment, Cesar. We're talking with Cesar Rincon. His company is called eXp Realty. What else should we know before we close this segment?
Well, I think there's nothing like home ownership. I've been blessed to be a homeowner since 1998, my late 20s, and nothing like home ownership. It builds value, builds equity, but most importantly, it builds a sense of pride. It builds a sense of ownership. So if you're thinking, should I not, can I not, I think it's worth having a conversation with myself or any other professional realtor that can guide you and really show you the pros and cons and listen to a professional as opposed to just, the hearsay. Because sometimes, it's easy to just make up stuff and it's easy for people to say, I heard that, this and that, when they haven't even experienced it. As professionals, we know, countless scenarios where you could benefit or not from being a homeowner. So definitely make the call.
Of course, we've talked a lot here in the last few minutes about buyers, but you're helping sellers as well to list their home.
Yes.
Cesar Rincon. Cesar, if someone wants to reach out to you to buy or sell real estate, what should they do?
The best way to reach me is phone number 281-973-HOME. 281-973-HOME. That's an easy to remember number, but most importantly, it rings straight through my cell phone. So I will answer the call, and I'll be happy to help.
Right there to Cesar Rincon. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
The phone number again is?
281-973-HOME.
Well, it's time to talk money once again. Here he is, Dan Munson. The company is called Sente Mortgage. Dan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, sir. It's good to be here.
Money makes the world go round. In some cases, in all cases, it's the lifeblood of a real estate transaction and so many others. Let's tell people, Dan, about your company, Sente.
So Sente's been around for 15 years now. It's a Texas-based company, and I'd say what really makes us is our culture. From the top down, we're a family. A lot of mortgage companies, there's a lot of back and forth between different departments and what's your fault, what's my fault. And we're just there trying to make it happen for the buyer.
It sounds like a unique blend of teamwork that you're offering right there at Sente.
I've been there 13 years.
Wow.
A friend of mine just got promoted to managing the underwriting department for the entire company. She's been there about 13 years too. So it's just a lot of longevity.
Well, on the website, Dan, I noticed that you have something called a 5-star mortgage experience.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
I think that starts with respect. I mean, if you're going to spend a few $100,000 on one item, I think you get to ask questions. I think you deserve my respect. And if you have concerns, bring them up. It means I'm not going to talk above you, beyond you, around you. I'm just going to, if you got questions in plain English, let's talk. And then I think it's also the fact that we don't say no. We say, hey, Bill, not today, but let's get a plan for tomorrow. We're going to get you into a house.
Well, one of the things I'm thinking about as far as the marketplace, and first of all, when you mention questions, people are asking you questions. I would imagine you're in the business for how many years now? Quite a while.
26.
Right? All right, so you're there 26, and I'm just guessing people are asking you questions all the time, and even though you're doing this for 26 years, I bet you get new questions every week where it's like, I hadn't heard that one. I'm guessing. Is that true?
That is true. And I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know there were a couple last week where I just kind of scratched my head.
Makes it interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not coming to mind now that you're asking me. I'll text you in about an hour and let you know.
And also, as far as the marketplace right now, we're well past the halfway point. So what do you see as we look ahead to the end of the year? We hear the rates went up just again last week. It was a big announcement. So how are you seeing the marketplace for the rest of this year, 2023?
So I'll break that into two. If you look at the mortgage market, I think that we are in the worst market from a mortgage standpoint that we've had in 30 years. So I think between 22, 23, 24, most mortgage bankers are going to get out of the business. If you look at the real estate side, I think things are going to improve. And one of the reasons I say that is life happens. You're going to, you've got, hey, we just had twins. Hey, we're getting divorced. Hey, I just got transferred. And there's a lot of people who are sitting on a 3% interest rate who say, man, I'm never leaving this house. But life happens.
Things happen.
Yep. And so I think that more inventory is going to come on the market. And there's going to be more homes available.
Especially when anyone uses the word never right around the corner, something that you just said never to is going to happen. By the way, as far as unique things in life happening, I have a friend that has 5 children, and they also bought a home. I don't know the builder, but it's a home that has like a separate quarters, which is rare, where parents will stay there and so forth, in-laws and so on. So it's very interesting, the different things that can happen and the different kind of homes that are there to accommodate the life.
Or if your wife gets mad at you, you've got a place to go that's comfortable.
That's another application for that particular model. You're exactly right. So someone is interested in buying a home, and they think about it. What should they do first? Especially someone that's inexperienced. They're listening right now, and they say, man, I hadn't bought a home in a long time. What's going on in the interest world? What should I do first? Call Dan Munson?
Oh, always.
That's good.
I think the big thing is to just relax. What's going to happen in this process is you're going to make application, your credit's going to be pulled, you're going to have a conversation, and it's going to be, yeah, we can do it now, or let's make a plan for later. So no one's going to reject you. No one's going to tell you you're a bad person. This is not a shot at you. This is about your income, your credit, and seeing what we can do. To me, that's the first thing you do. And then when people come to me, that's exactly what we do, is go through the application and come up with a plan.
And you mentioned as far as the application goes, how long does it take these days if I were to do an application, or anyone listens says, okay, Dan, I want to do the application process. How long does that typically take for someone that has a, quote, regular job? And then I want to ask about someone that's self-employed, but someone that has a regular job, how long is that process, Dan?
So doing the actual paperwork and application is 10 minutes. Now,
can I do it over the phone?
You can do it over the phone.
Okay.
You can do it over the phone, on your phone, on the website, or in person. We're just over at I-10, and not far from IKEA, which is a great landmark. Someday IKEA is going to say they're next to me, I think. That seems fair.
Well, they don't already do that?
Well, we'll see.
They could. We don't know.
They could. The whole process of, hey, send me your paperwork and I'll get a pre-approval letter to you, might take 2 hours. It might take 24 hours. If you're self-employed, you brought that up. If you're self-employed, there's just more paperwork involved sometimes, depending on how your business is set up. So that can also take 2 hours, but it might take 48. One of the big things that people have to keep in mind is we're going to have questions and we're going to ask for more paperwork in many cases. Just get it to us quickly and we'll get an answer to you quickly.
So the main thing would be to have just generally speaking in life, have your finances in order and even organized, so that when these life events happen, like the life event of applying for a loan, you can do that easily. And when you ask for, hey, I need this paper, boom, there it is, ready to go.
Yeah,
Kind of be prepared, right, Dan?
Exactly. And what that means is know where your tax returns are, your W-2s, your paycheck stubs, your bank statements. Know how to put your hands on that stuff.
It sounds good to me. Of all the things you could be doing, Dan, you've been doing this many years. Why did you choose this profession?
That's a wonderful question, because it was intentional. I had worked in transactional businesses prior to this. I wanted to be in something where you make a relationship with somebody. Like, I had past clients who had birthdays today. I shot them notes and said, hey, happy birthday, and they respond, and we keep in touch. I get to meet great realtors, and we keep in touch, and I meet you. So what a great business. Several times. What a great business.
Well, you mentioned that also. I'm guessing that you, being with this longevity, you're helping people that when it's ready to sell, when they're ready to sell again and buy something new. Hey, Dan, here we go, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, and I had that over the weekend. We're getting ready to move, sell our current house, moving into the next one, and we're ready for your help.
So that sounds awesome.
I think the one that hits me the most is when you're talking to somebody, and it could be someone who's 60 years old, and they say, my family doesn't buy houses. It's just not who we are. It's not part of our family identity. But I've got grandchildren, and I want to show them something different. And so you put a 60-year-old as a first-time buyer into a house, and they're setting the standard for the rest of their family. And what I realized in that moment is if I say, no, you can't have a house, man, that can shoot the entire family. But if I say, hey, either you can buy now or we're going to have a plan for later, it gives them hope, not just for them, but for their kids, their grandkids, their nieces and nephews. That's really powerful.
Buying a home here in the United States is really a privilege, and we don't realize the freedom we have. Give us an idea, during the course of a week, how often someone says, Dan, what's the interest rate? Twice?
The fact that it hasn't happened in the last 10 minutes impresses me.
Here it is. We record on Monday for people, right?
Oh, I hear that all the time.
How often do people ask you, Dan, what does Sente Mortgage, where does the name come from? Does that happen?
Not often, but I met a guy today who knows exactly where it comes from.
Well, let's remind people what that means.
All right. So, Bill,
I want to say it's a mindset, right?
Yes.
The term Sente, and it has to do with a game and also achieving or getting something done.
Yeah, and Bill, you're one of the first, and I alluded to you because you're one of the first people who's ever just known it right off the bat. Sente is from a game called Go. It comes from China, and Chinese generals played it for thousands of years. And it's a strategy game, and the idea is if you are in Sente, you are in a position to win, and that's where we want our employees, our clients, and our referral partners to be. We want them to win.
Before we close this segment, what haven't I asked you that you were hoping I would ask you?
I think just what's out there that we're hearing in the market from people, like what in general. And I think what I would respond is I think there's a lot of bad assumptions out there. And you're better off buying a house now than you are with higher rates than you are waiting to buy. Because with, God willing, I can refinance you later and get you a better rate later, but you're not going to get 2023 prices later. When these prices go up, you can always get you can't refinance the price of your house.
That's a good point. And I think you're right that right now the price points are probably pretty good right now.
Yeah.
And also, just a side note, we're getting close to my favorite buying time of the year, if and when weather gets cooler. I'm worried that it won't get cooler, but typically I'm predicting a boom in October, November of housing to get through to the end of the year. All that said, Dan, let's tell people how they can reach you, Dan Munson at Sente Mortgage.
The easiest way to remember is just mortgagedan.com. And the phone number is there and the email's there.
mortgagedan.com. The number is
713-480-1061.
Sounds like you said, 713-480-1061. Dan Munson. Dan, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome, sir.
Well, we have a show first. Right now, we're going to talk to someone in the staffing business. We've never had someone in staffing. His name is Francisco Ardilla. The company is Professional Alternative Staffing Solutions. Hey, Francisco, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I am really excited to speak with you today.
Well, it's awesome. Let's tell people, first of all, your company is called Professional Alternative Staffing Solutions. Generally, what does your company do?
So we specialize in staffing. We're made up of 5 divisions, but my division is lending services, which primarily staffs for the mortgage industry. Anything residential lending is where we're really niched in.
And certainly right here in Houston, it's an abundant marketplace. A lot of mortgage professionals and companies are right here, right?
That's correct. So, but we also recruit nationally. So we're based here in Houston. We've got an office here in Houston, right down the street actually from your office. We've also have one in Dallas, but we recruit nationwide. So we can help companies from coast to coast.
And give us an idea of some of the distinctions that put you ahead of some of the other companies that are in the same profession.
So company is getting ready to celebrate its 25th anniversary. It's founded in '98. Everybody on my team has either worked in the industry or been recruiting in the industry for a long time. And so what we do is we're really niched. We've got a big network, and we understand the role. So we speak the lingo. We can, don't have to put kid gloves on when you're dealing with us. You can just go out, tell us exactly what you're looking for, tell the recruiters what you need, and then we just, we go out and we find it.
Well, so how does it start? So does it start or does it do both? If I'm a company and I say, man, I need someone in my mortgage company, I call you?
That's right.
Now, what if I'm the person that's in the mortgage world? Do I call you also and have you help me find a company, or how does it work? You do both?
Well, we do. We actually, that's a great question. So we do both. Most, typically starts, we've got, mortgage companies, they'll call us, they'll tell us, hey, you know what, we're looking to, we need a new vice president of underwriting, or we need a new branch in Arizona. We want to add a team of loan officers in Arizona. You call us, then we put out the feelers, we start searching, and we go and we find that for you. But we also work the other side. If somebody's looking for a job, let's say confidentially, they come to us and they say, I think I want to switch companies. Then we can go out and we can do that investigation and that legwork and help them find the next move.
And at this point, Francisco, as far as the marketplace goes, how is it right now? Because this, as I say, it's a show first. It's a world that we're not into a lot. It's interesting. How busy is your company right now? And then how do you see things play out for the rest of the year?
It's really interesting. I think it's been well documented. There's been tens and thousands of layoffs in the mortgage industry. So on our operation side, we have some searches, but it's mostly strategic. It's mostly some companies out there really looking for something very specific. But a lot of mortgage operations hiring has gone to almost zero. But we also recruit on the sales side, which is busy right now. There's still companies out there they're all kind of fighting for the same producers. So we're busy on that side where we're staying niche. There's also a lot of companies that are maybe not as well positioned right now. So there's a lot of fear when it comes to people looking for a new place to call home right now.
And then again, we're a little past the halfway point as you look to October, November. What are you seeing there in your speculation?
So one of my favorite sayings is, economists have predicted 9 of the past 5 recessions. So really, we don't know, right? We're kind of going into unprecedented territory. I do think it will get better. Rates have to stabilize at some place, which means when there's some type of normalcy in the industry, if you can call it that, right? It's a crazy industry, but hit some type of little bit of normalcy, companies can start making decisions about the future, which affects hiring.
Well, knowing what you mentioned layoffs and things, knowing what if someone's out there, certainly in the mortgage world, but even just general knowledge for someone that needs some help in a job search, knowing what what are some of the things that someone should do if they're in the mortgage world and they want to change companies, or just generally speaking these days, because it's a lot different, I'm guessing, here in 2023 than when I looked for a job back in 10 years ago?
I would say LinkedIn is a great resource. Hiring managers are on LinkedIn. The number one user of LinkedIn are recruiters. Update your LinkedIn profile. Make it look good. Number 2, utilize your network, both online and in person. Right? Go out to MBA events, go out to networking events, meet people. After that, connect with recruiters, talk to recruiters. We're out there. Our job is to help people, right? We're helping you find your next place. And most of us are really nice. If it's not even something that we're working on, we'll steer you the right direction. We'll review your resume for free. Those are really important. And then update your resume. Keep it clean. You can always send it to us. We'll look at it and review it and give you some recommendations.
You were reading my mind. I was going to say, do they still use resumes? And if so, what are some of the bullet points to having a successful one? And if I had one right here, what do I do with it? How do I get it out there?
Most people don't like to brag on themselves, but your resume is where you need to brag on yourself a little bit. Put your accomplishments, your achievements. Don't just put the duties of what you've done. Put some quantifiable accomplishments that are there. If you've been in President's Club, if you've been Employee of the Year, Employee of the Month, put that on there. That's the time to brag on yourself a little bit.
Well, give us an idea as far as you mentioned the mortgage industry. Is that your specialty with the company, and are there any other markets that you're serving?
That is absolutely my specialty. I recruit everything from mostly executive level, director level roles, and then sales roles. So we recruit a lot of branches and loan officers, and that's on my desk. That's mostly what I work on when I'm doing that, when I'm recruiting personally.
And of all the things you could be doing, how did you find yourself into this profession, and what do you love about it so much, assuming that you love it? And I think you do.
So I got into the mortgage industry early, in my early 20s. I worked in wholesale. So I worked in wholesale up into 2008. I thought it was the best thing ever, right? I mean, it's a great industry, loved it. Market blows up. Got out of the industry for a little while. When I got back in, I got back into origination, and I was really brand new into origination. But one of my friends happened to be a recruiter and said, you should really look into recruiting. You sound good on the phone. You're good with people. So I took an interview with a recruiting firm, and 10 years later, I do mortgage recruiting. So I said, hey, look, mortgage and recruiting. Let's make you a mortgage recruiter. And now I manage a team of 8.
A team of 8. And as far as the role of this 8, are they here in Houston, or again, you're helping outside of Houston as well?
We help outside of Houston as well, but they're all in Houston, and then one in Dallas.
So that's quite a team. So as far as other things that are going up, if someone is out there, and I know there's small companies, large companies of all sizes, let's say, so some companies, I would even think a medium-sized company may not have used a staffing company like yours, and let's say it's their first time for doing so. What are some of the things that a company should know about when using a staffing company?
I think the number one thing that they should know is that we work on contingency. So if we perform, we do have a fee, right? We don't work for free, but we work as a very similar to a commission loan officer. That if you give us a job order and we find you the right person, that's when that's the only time a fee is incurred. So it's free to consult with us.
So then, but for the company, then you will provide a choice. Hey, by the way, I have this person, and this person, and then the process begins, and then
that's exactly correct. If they come to us, they give us their specs of what they're looking for, and then after that, that's when the engine starts to turn. Right? We've invested a lot in technology. We start, engine starts turning. We start presenting candidates, and then it's up to the company to choose, who they want to interview and ultimately who they want to hire.
It's a process, and especially in the real estate world, things are always changing. Here we're talking about what we think is going to happen here for the rest of the year, right?
Right. What's
going to happen in 2024, right? I mean, that's a whole other thing that's around the corner.
Every year is different. I mean, every search is different. It's just a continual motion of chaos sometimes.
Well, one of the things that strikes me, first of all, your process is a long time for the payoff, so to speak, for your company and maybe you as an individual. And then you're dealing with candidates, you're dealing with companies. Each company has a different requirement. As far as you to be successful, Francisco, what are the things that you do to stay organized, to handle all these moving parts and also the different aspects of the job and of each company and individual?
It all starts with planning and leveraging technology. We've got a great, we call it an ATS, which is basically a CRM on steroids. It's got keeping your notes up to date, making sure that every conversation that you have that you're making some type of notes. I mean, I talked to people from 5 years ago that I remember. Oh, I talked to a guy the other day. I was like, oh yeah, last time we talked, you were getting your pool built, and making sure that you're utilizing that and keeping track and being extremely organized and planned. I mean, you have to plan, because it will, your day will run away from you if you don't.
You're talking about technology. You mentioned LinkedIn. Are there any other things that someone should do as a candidate that's available in a technology form? Certainly LinkedIn, but are there any other platforms that we should know about?
If you're looking, say, for instance, to add to your resume, add to your cover letter, go on to ChatGPT. If you can, you can put a resume in there and say, write me a summary of my resume, and it will give you some great pointers. Other than that, I think it's really networking.
We're talking with Francisco Ardilla with Professional Alternative Staffing Solutions. Francisco, let's tell people how they can reach you.
So number one, I know I've talked a lot about LinkedIn, so connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Francisco Ardilla with one L, so Ardila. And my phone number, welcome to call me anytime, 832-200-0815. 832-200-0815.
Francisco, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
Let's talk to Stacy Massano. She is with Polonsky Vital Green. Stacy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be back.
Well, first of all, let's tell people, we'll remind people, Polonsky Vital Green.
Sure. So Polonsky Vital Green has been in business for nearly 50 years. We're the oldest law firm in the state of Texas, representing mortgage lenders, banks, credit unions, and builder mortgage companies, and we are a nationwide law firm as well.
And that's quite a distinction.
It is.
And give people an idea, what is your role with the company?
So my role is I am Director of Business Development. So I go out and connect with people.
So that sounds interesting because we have here at Stewart Title, we have business development people, but I didn't ever think that law firms have people that are also out there spreading the word, so to speak.
Yes, yes. So our firm has business development people, and I lead that team. And so we're out there connecting with our customers, which again are our mortgage lenders, banks, credit unions, builder mortgage companies, and but the name does speak for itself. The name has a long history, so it's very well recognized in our industry.
Well, and also as far as the mechanics, you're out there connecting, and as you mentioned, the marketplace, there are so many real estate professionals in the realm that you just mentioned. I bet you're pretty busy and having some fun along the way.
I think that connecting with people, I think we all work in this industry very, very hard. And so I think having fun while we're working is very important.
And it's a fascinating industry too, right?
It's a very fascinating industry.
What are some of the things that the law firm does then in this real estate realm that you're serving, so to speak, maybe
Sure.
a menu of the types of things that you're helping people with?
Sure. So we actually either prepare or review mortgage closing documents. So all of those papers that the consumer is manually signing with a pen or electronically signing, we do that piece of it. We do construction lending, we do lot loans, we do Fannie Freddie type loans. So we do all facets of the documentation in mortgage lending.
And right now, the marketplace for what your company's doing, what's it like right now? You all very busy, and as you look ahead, how's it going to wind up for the year?
So we follow our mortgage clients, which are our mortgage lenders, banks, credit unions, and builder mortgage companies. So we ebb and flow with them, but we're very well diversified in the sense that we do many segments of the mortgage industry. So what we find is our builder mortgage companies, they are putting up inventory as fast as they can. The builder ends up having incentives that they can buy that rate down for the consumer. So our mortgage lenders, they're doing a lot of different types of products, buy down products, ARM products. So we're able to help in that realm as well. Our credit unions and banks, they have the depository side that helps offset when we do go through a high interest rate market. It's a good diverse segment of lenders.
And with what you're doing, is this all in the Houston area, or do you go outside? Does your firm go outside of the
We
Houston?
are a nationwide firm. I just happen to be based here in Houston, and we have an office here in Houston. We have an office in Dallas, and our corporate office is located in San Antonio.
The
Yes.
Texas Triangle. I've
The
heard
Texas
reference.
Triangle.
So, just a quick word. What about Dallas? How's the market in these? How's business in these other areas? We always like to hear about stuff outside of Houston. San Antonio, Dallas.
Sure.
Pretty busy up there.
I would say, just from my experience and our lenders, that each market is pretty much following the same. You know, the state is pretty consistent in this rising interest rate market as far as volume. I wouldn't say one's more higher than the other.
Stacy, as you are with the firm Polonsky Vital Green, right here in Houston, Texas, is where you are based. Also, you have another endeavor that you're part of, and let's tell people about that. It's called the Women's Inclusive Mortgage Industry Network. Let's tell people about that.
Right. So it is called Women, like you said, Women's Inclusive Mortgage Industry Network. So our industry has a women's association on the national level. We also have women's associations on different state levels. And so this is just bringing it down to the local level. So it's championing women locally in their local market. So our mission is to just really come together and collaborate as a group. Whether you are a processor or the CEO of a company, it's everyone coming together. And it's also helping to cultivate a younger generation, because the mortgage industry, we need that younger generation to start getting involved in our industry so that we have an industry going forward.
Well, that's a good point. And so what's happening there? Are there a lot of young people getting into the mortgage profession?
I wouldn't say they're just like jumping in to it.
Why not? Maybe they should. I bet it's one of the things that you just don't think about as far as opportunities. And here we're putting the word out here today, as is your organization.
So it's interesting because when I went to school, they actually had mortgage lending programs. So the school that I went to doesn't have that anymore. So if you don't have it in your colleges as a program and career path, then the younger generations aren't really going to choose that because they don't see that as a path in a career for them. So that's one of the opportunities for this association, is to bring that back into the schools, a curriculum. That's part of it. We have a mentoring program as well. Younger people that want a mentor, they have that available to them. We also have a podcast that just launched last week. This is an opportunity for people to be able to get themselves out there and, do something very similar to what we're doing right now.
What's the name of the podcast, if someone wants to listen?
Women, WIMIN.
And so there you go, WIMIN, which are the initials for the organization.
Correct.
How long has it been around?
So it really started.
Did you start it?
Me and a group of women started it. But we have a lot of men in our association as well.
That's my next question. What if can men be part of the?
Absolutely.
There you go.
And we have men in the association. So it's really about education, networking, coming together. It's really about connecting and helping each other in our industry. That's really the premise of it. The inclusive part is no one gets left behind. Everyone is involved and everyone is welcome to be a part of.
Well, when you mentioned the idea that young people aren't getting in the mortgage industry, first of all, I'm thinking about the real estate world, and I think every age is wants to get the real estate license. So I'll pass by Champion's Real Estate School. The parking lot's always filled. A lot of people want to be realtors, but I think a lot of people forget about the other parts of the real estate world, thus the mortgage world. That's a great opportunity for a young person to be thinking about, or really anybody.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity. It's home ownership. It's helping consumers with the largest asset that they're ever going to purchase in their life.
You don't have to drive around showing people 20 homes either.
That's right.
I think there's some advantages, Stacy. We're talking with Stacy Massano. She is with the law firm Polonsky Beidel Green. In addition, she is one of the founders of an organization called WIMIN, Women's Inclusive Mortgage Industry. What are about how many members do you have right now with the women organization?
Sure. So we have about 50 members right now, but we are fairly new and a nonprofit and continually growing. Started in Houston, but expanding out to the other cities in Texas, and then there are women even out of state that want to take it out of state as well.
So you have a podcast, but also do you have a website for the organization?
We do.
And it is?
Women.net, WIMIN.net.
WIMIN.net. And also, let's tell people the website of the law firm.
It is mortgagelaw.com.
That is nice and easy. Mortgagelaw.com. Stacy, what else should we know about what you're doing?
You know, just really having a good time out there doing the mortgage business and connecting with people like your guest you just had on the show along with me. And I want to really thank you for that.
Well, we appreciate it. And also, let's tell people if they want to hear the podcast, they can go to
Women, WIMIN. It is on YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel, Women, WIMIN.
I'm gonna check it out. And
check it out.
Stacy, if someone wants to give you a call, what's the number?
713-539-1948. 713-539-1948.
Thank you so much for being with us,
Thank
Stacy
you.
Massano.
Thank you.
As we continue, here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John, here we are. We're scratching the preamble in the interest of time, but here we are at Stewart Insurance, helping people every day. And you were pretty much the casting director for the show, so I say, way to go.
Well, thank you. It was a great show. And it was
great.
and great guests, and we learned, as we always do, but we learned a lot this week.
As always. So a brief word. What do you want people to know about with Stewart Insurance?
Well, if you want to be properly insured, if you want to be comfortable with your decision, so when life happens, and it will, that you know what coverage you have and what coverage you don't have. So whether you're an individual buying your first home, or for your car or flood or wind, vacation home, a second home for investments, we can help you there. If you're a mortgage banker, a real estate professional, a realtor, property management firm, independent title attorney agent, we can help you with your business insurance. So errors and omissions, cyber liability, general liability, commercial auto, we can help you with that as well.
Helping almost everybody.
We're shooting for everybody. We're not quite there yet, but we're shooting for everybody, yes.
It's unbelievable. Well, there you are with the team at Stewart Insurance doing tremendous work, stewartinsurance.com, led by Tom Carpentier, who leads the company in a magnificent way, as I say, 24/7. I don't know how he does it.
Well, because he has a passion for the team and he has a passion for our clients.
That's right. Super awesome. John, let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
They can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. They can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com. And as you said, if they'd like to learn more, they can visit us online at stewartinsurance.com.
They can also go to the show archives and hear you every week with long segments right there at stewart.com/radio. And also next week, you'll be back with your regular segment. I can hardly wait there. Once again, John, the website is
stewartinsurance.com.
And you're helping people all over the United States, not just here in Houston,
That
Texas.
is correct.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. He's back. Cesar Rincon.
Here I am.
There you are. Hey, Cesar, as we wind up the show, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing with eXp Realty?
Well, don't be afraid to own your own home. You know, yes, landlords are great. They take care of fixing stuff for you, but nothing like owning your own home. So, you know, give us a call or give any other professional realtor a call, have a consultation, and move forward. The worst that can happen is nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what, the market, I think it's a good time to buy. I really do.
Absolutely.
And it might even be a better time to buy when it gets cooler, just for being comfortable, just saying, right?
Yes.
Are
yeah,
you
absolutely.
How many homes are you out there showing with if there's an average, when you go and show people, I know they look online a lot of times first, but you mentioned earlier that you had like 10, but what's the average?
Most showings, we show about 4 or 5 homes in one route, you know, per se. Just for time purposes, it's hard to allocate.
One day, so to
One
speak,
day,
yeah.
Because, you know, the person will have a window of 2 or 3 hours. So usually, you know, 4 to 5, 6 houses, if they're available, because that's the big challenge, if there's enough houses available.
So many nuances to the real estate profession. That's one of the reasons it's so exciting. Cesar, let's tell people how to reach you.
281-973-HOME or buywithcaesar, CESAR.com. Buywithcaesar.com.
You know, I had one of your salads just the other week.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Love it. Thank you.
The number again is
281-973-HOME, HOME.
Thank you so much, Cesar. Here he is, Sente, with all the right moves. Sente, Dan
Yes,
Munson.
sir.
Here we are, Dan. We're winding up the show. What else should people know?
I think success leaves breadcrumb trails. So if you're looking for a mortgage banker who's going to care about you and help you through the process and be there for you, look at the places where they don't edit reviews. Go to Google. Go to Facebook. There's a website called nmlsconsumeraccess.org, It'll show you where a mortgage banker has worked for at least the last 10 years. Let's make sure you're working with a professional who's verified, who has those crumb trails of success.
So it sounds like an interesting website that actually tells us about the people that we could do business with. Is that one way to say it?
Exactly right.
What's that site again?
NMLSconsumeraccess.org, and it'll tell you if that mortgage banker's been licensed for a month or for 20 years.
And Dan, let's tell people how they can reach you. Dan Munson with Sente Mortgage.
713-480-1061 or mortgagedan.com.
mortgagedan.com. Sounds good to me. Thanks for being with us, Dan. Here he is, Francisco Ardilla. Francisco, what else should we know before we close the show down?
I like what Dan said about reviews. Go out to Google and Google professional alternatives. Look at the reviews. We've been around a long time, and whether you're a company entrusting us to find you the best people, we know that's important. Or you're a candidate entrusting you to find us your next opportunity, and we really care. I mean, that's what we do. That's our job. It's our job to find, put people in the best situation, whether it's a candidate or a client.
Sounds good. What's the website of your company?
It is proalt.com. So www.proalt.com.
Proalt.com, Professional Alternative Staffing Solutions. It's interesting to me. I think you have a fascinating job. Like, you're putting these things together. There's so many pieces and so much brain work that goes into it, and also with people and companies.
Sometimes it feels like we're half psychologist, half recruiter, but
that's what I'm thinking.
It's a fun job, and it's very rewarding.
Francisco, let's tell people your number is
832-200-0815.
Francisco Ardilla. The number again is
832-200-0815.
It's been a long time since I've talked with Stacy Massano, but she's back, and I'm so happy. Stacy, here we are again. Seems like just a few minutes ago.
Yes.
So let's tell people before we close the show down what you want them to know.
So with regards to Polensky Bido Green, our law firm, the thing that I want people to know out there is that we have a very robust team to be able to help them. Very specialized team of attorneys and doc prep team as well. So we do every facet of the lending when it comes to legal preparation on the residential side. So I think that's very, very important that you have a team behind you, a team that is going to be there for you, a team that's going to be there beyond normal business hours and answer their phone at any time.
Is that right?
That's right.
Getting the job done.
Getting the job done.
Super awesome. Also, the website, again, for the law firm is
mortgagelaw.com.
And quickly, your other organization, Women.
Women is a nonprofit organization.
I could join, can't I?
You can. It sounds like you really want to be involved. So I am going to send you an invitation to our next luncheon, and you're going to be there, right?
Exactly. As long as it's not on a Monday.
It's not on a Monday.
There's no math required?
There's no math required.
I mean, let's tell people the website of Women.
Women.net, WIMIN.
And your number is?
713-539-1948.
Thank you so much, Stacy Massano, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick, together with John Bramlett and all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you listening. Once again, sometimes it's not just enough to hear the show. That's why we have all the shows posted at stewart.com/radio. That's right, you can see what's going on right here in the studio simply by going to stewart.com/radio. Thank you for being with us. We look forward to seeing you next week. Stewart.com/radio. Till then.